Hey guys, it's Chris here with Shadetree America. We're with the van here today. This is the project van, the 2011 Chrysler Town & Country. Right now we're going to look this over and see what it needs. Go through a little bit, what it's going to need to get it back up to safety inspection standards for the area. We're just driving it right now. I have the windows down. I'm going to roll them up here so we have no wind noise. I'm driving it right now and I'm hearing some noises, and I brought this up in the the last video whenever I brought this in and showed it. We have bearing issues, wheel bearing issues. Right now I'm not able to really do it driving down the road, but if you take, there's three ways to test for a wheel bearing. One of them I don't think you can really do anymore with these with the analog brake system, especially with the rear wheel. You're not going to be able to. One would be put it on a lift and run it, and you can hear the noise with a stethoscope. Second, you can do it while you're driving. It gets a good idea of where to look at. If you swerve the wheel, cut the wheel a little bit to the left and to the right, and if it gets noisy, you know that it's a bearing issue for sure. So I'm editing this video, and I just realized that I kind of glossed over to the third way to test for your wheel bearing. Just talking about other things that kind of got off track. The third way is this way, and if you can get your vehicle jacked up in the air and supported, you can do this easily. Front wheel drives, you'll have to block the wheels. If you're going to test the front, you're going to have to block the back wheels, put the vehicle in neutral, and spin that wheel by hand. You're going to feel resistance in like gravelly, gritty feel on a spring. Hold your arm on a spring, like how I'm showing you. Just grab a hold of that strut, spin that around. You're going to feel that. In the back, if it's front wheel drive, you're not going to have to, of course, worry about that as much of putting in neutral and everything. But the same thing goes. Hold on to the spring, the coil spring. If it's leaf spring, if you can spin that, you're going to be able to put a stethoscope or something on that if you can hear it that way, or a long screwdriver or something. I use a stethoscope. It's just because they're cheap and they're easy. Rear wheel drive, that rear bearing, you're going to hear that bearing. If it's in the front and it's four-wheel drive, you're going to have to take that and put it neutral and everything. In transfer case, probably going to have to be neutral, block the wheels, and jack it up that way. But same rules do apply. Spin the wheel, feel bearing, feel areas around it, like steering shafts, steering knuckles and stuff, whatever you can grab a hold of that's stationary. You're not going to get hurt. Don't put it in an area where you're going to pinch your fingers. But you do that. That's how you can tell the third way. And I didn't realize that I kind of glossed over that. So I'm just adding it. I'm going to put this in here. Of course, this post-production. I've already looked at the vehicle and everything. So just keep in mind that be careful if you're doing something like this. Take the precautions. I don't like to hear of anybody getting hurt. This channel is just for entertainment purposes, maybe a little bit of a guide. If you are using it, you're doing it at your own risk. I make that very clear on my descriptions. You are taking a risk on everything that you do. I'm not responsible for your actions. I can't control somebody that's in Idaho. I can't control somebody that might be in England. So, you're taking your own risk on this. Just understand that. Right now, I can tell you, hearing it, turning the wheel, when I turn the wheel to the right, it gets noisy in both areas. And with that is because you're taking the load off of those bearings and they're running freewheel, that it takes a little bit of weight off. Both, right front, left rear are both noisy. In fact, when I bought this from sitting for a year, I knew stuff was going to happen. I already bought these bearings. They're on the way. I ordered them already yesterday, so I don't have to worry about that. But another thing you want to look at for you know, for inspection and stuff, you know, you just want to make sure the brakes are feeling all right. These have sat for a year. They do have some rust. They're coming back to life. I'll take the wheels off. I'm going to check them, make sure that, you know, our pads aren't cracked up or anything like that. They're not separating. Make sure there's not big pits and stuff on these rotors. If they are, I'm already planning on probably have to buy rotors. That was already a given. I just have to measure them just to make sure that I can get the proper ones when I order. We'll make sure the wipers work. I just put brand new wipers on and I know they work. The back one needs a little bit of a love. The spring is not letting the wiper blade sit on the back window. So I already got some WD-40 for that. I'm gonna get it soaked, or take that off, get it soaking. Just make sure the heater works. I know the heater works and stuff like that. You know, just simple things, just driving it. You want to make sure. And then, you know, the lights and stuff. I know the headlights work. I know the fog lights work, but I'd have to walk around and just check them. And in the state that I live in, you have to make sure this stuff works for safety certification, yearly safety inspections. So, I'm gonna finish up the road test, and then next we will be looking it over, just looking over, see what we have, an actual check over to see what we have, see what's gonna be needed for an inspection, for safety reasons. You know, the family's gonna be riding in this, so stay tuned here. I guess through the magic of video editing, you guys will see the next part here pretty soon. All right, guys. Got done with the test drive. I'm actually at a spot that I'm going to be doing some work on it. We're going to look at this a little bit better. The first video, it was just a quick thing because I just bought it. It was just a quick purchase. We're going to dig deep into this, check and see what it's going to need to be a good roadworthy vehicle, and give you a testimony of what could possibly be if you choose to buy an older vehicle that's been sitting for a while, or a vehicle in general that's been sitting for a while. Let's do a quick look at, this is going to be a multi-part series. Wasn't bought for a video, it was bought for the family. So this is a 2011 Chrysler Town & Country. I have some tools right there, a couple things. This has 117,000 miles. I said that on the first video. The few things that I know about right now is tires. I have 4 brand new Michelin X Ices in there. Bought them on eBay. It was like under 300 bucks. I'm gonna have them put on here really soon. Some of this stuff was from me. The rest is from the previous person. And I told him, I said, you know, that I don't really care. And like I said, I don't care if it's dirty or not. Very active family. It's got quite a bit of stuff in here. We're gonna do a detail in another video on it. I'm gonna do this detail myself. Just a little bit easier than trying to save money whenever it comes to it. We're going to come to the front. You'll see the fuse box is open. There's called a Tipm sensor that goes bad on these Chryslers. This is a thing that you can buy on eBay. They told me about this and I knew about it for a while. It's like a fuel pump control module that's integrated inside the fuse box and around the fuse box area. It's like almost $2,000 to get done. So what there is on eBay is you can buy a jump wire setup that plugs into a couple spots. The only problem right now, that plugged in, the fuel pump runs constant and it drains the battery. So, and it also hurts the fuel pump just running all the time. So I disconnected it right now. I actually ordered a new box that plugs in right here. And what it does is it has a shut off on it. That one, those switch at about 30 bucks or so. The setup I bought is actually 139, has a switch on it to shut it off. Also to, I guess, lack of a better term, deadhead your pump to see, you know, later on if you ever have a pump issue. So it's got the 3.6 in it. It's got a cartridge oil filter. You see the cartridge oil filter. I've already changed the air filter in it. I'm going to do a spark plugs later. I'm going to get coil packs. I'm going to do coil packs at the same time just because you have to pull the intake, and these are iridium plugs.
everything, the air conditioner doesn't work. I do believe, I know that these are notorious for having rear condenser issues. So what I'm going to do is, I know there's a little bit of charge in it. There's some PAG oil. I've already checked the high side to see if there's anything come out. There is. So I know there's a little bit of a charge. It takes 2.5 pounds. I'm going to try putting some in it and see what happens. I know there's a charge, so I don't have to worry about any kind of setup like that. Tires, of course, on this side. We're just walking around it right now. And we're going to get to it. There's a little bit of damage on it. And like I said, this is something I already knew. I mean, it's not a big issue. Biggest thing is right here is it was in a backup accident, which I knew about it. Doesn't really bother me. So let's get it jacked up, look underneath it, get some tires shaken down, and see where we can go. Also, I forgot my tripod, so it's gonna be a little sketch this time. So just bear with me, guys. All right, let's see. I'll get this wheel off here really quick. Get this jacked up. All right, what we want to do is we want to make sure nothing's loose. Just shake the wheel back and forth, up and down. Nothing's loose. I'm looking up in the spring. Spring looks really good. And then, well, that's jacked up. I'll put something underneath it. So hold on, I'll bring you right back. All right. We've got a block underneath there, so we'll take these off. All right, let's see what we got.
There's a lot of...
It's gonna need brake pads.
Does it need rotors?
Gonna need rotors.
I was gonna say
they're rusty. They're pitted.
There was a lot of rust.
Vertical control arm bushing's good. Sway bar link's good. Our brake line looks good. So
there's a lot of rust in that when you dumped it off.
I'll bring you guys over here. As you can see, there's a lot of rust on this. This is from sitting, remember. Seeing the fact those brakes are at least probably like 20% at most. You just put brakes on at the same time. So I'll bring you right back here. I'm going to compress that caliper and see if it moves. All right, I got the caliper compressed. You can see the wheels are moving back, or the pistons moving back and forth. That caliper is good. That'll compress. So I don't have to worry about that. We're going to need pads and rotors, especially for the front. I won't need to pull, I will pull the other side just to check that caliper. But ball joint's good, the tie rod's good. Definitely need to look at that other side for the strut mount. You can see the strut's good. That's kind of old right now. I don't want to mess with it because you have to change the alignment with these whenever you change them. It drives good as it is. So I'm gonna bring you guys back here whenever I get over to the other side. Really quickly before I move on and put this wheel on, here's something to show you also. You see this is really thick on this side and really thin over here. This is a lot of times caused by what happens is somebody puts a set of pads on just to get it by instead of changing the rotor when the rotor gets ground down. So it's something to look forward to, or look after. You can see just the thickness is overall, it's different. So not a problem. We'll put new rotors on it and pads anyway. And she'll be braking in no time really good. All right, brought you guys back here. This is the left rear, driver's side rear. The tire's really good shape. I'm probably gonna keep that. Probably not gonna, I don't know, I might keep it on there. It just depends. But if you take the wheel, these are stationary, supposed to be with that axle, the solid axle. You can see the solid axle there. just to have the jack up for right now, holding it until I can get a jack stand underneath it. You should not have play. I don't know if the camera can pick it up. There's a slight bit of play moving back and forth, lateral and vertical. Like I said, I heard that wheel bearing. I knew that wheel bearing. There's something right now going on where that's losing air too. It might be even the Tipm sensor. So like I said, my suspicions was right on test drive. So there's a wheel bearing issue on here. I'm gonna get the wheel ripped off. I'll bring you guys right back here, and we'll check the brakes out. And we already assumed that it's probably gonna need back brakes, but I gotta also measure for the rotors and everything to make sure I get the proper brakes. So I get this all set up, get everything jacked up here, get everything blocked up properly, I'll bring you guys back. All right, bring you guys back here. As you can tell, these rotors are very rusty. I didn't see any pits on the back side or the front side. Pads are like brand new. There is a trick when we start doing the brake work. I'll show you guys to get that set up. Now, the only thing I'm afraid of is I haven't pulled the park brake on this. That's one thing I am kind of worried about, to see if this park brake's gonna free up and ratchet. If it don't, I might just order calipers at the same time. It really just depends on if they're available or not. So yeah, the pads are really good. You can keep those and reuse them and just put rotors on. That's probably what I might do, is just keep those pads. They're like brand new. There's no use in throwing something away. It's still good. Like I said, the wheel bearing is bad. It's loose. You can feel it whenever the wheels. So I'll get that fixed. That'll be part of it. Another thing we're also going to do eventually is the shocks. I got coilover shocks coming in for this. I also have a trailer hitch that's going to go put on here too for hauling. So we'll get that put on there at a later time as part of our plans. But for inspection reasons, I have to change this rotor. This rotor is done. It's not going to work. All right, so we're here on the left rear. Same as the other side. One thing I did notice is, just looking, that's a solid, this is wheel bearing's been replaced. The other side's full through. That's not been replaced. That's original. Probably reason why it is bad. But got it all supported. Let's rip it off here. So there we go. We got it. Wheel out of the way. Back wheels are not bad, but I do have those new Michelins, so probably might as well just put the Michelins on. So what do we have? We have another set of nearly new brake pads. This rotor is actually cleaning up, but we'll put some new ones on here. This is a newer caliper as well. It's not really rusty. It's pretty clean. I've yet to pull the park brake just because I didn't want to, in case if it froze up or something, I didn't want to mess around with it right now. Those calipers, that caliper moves. If anything, you know, maybe not. I was going to say maybe you could adjust the park brake, but I don't think it's going to be needed, actually. When you do the brakes, you have the park brake, you have to pull that piston and turn that piston in. I have the tool for it. That's something that would be a later thing. There's a rear shock. Shock's muddy. It's not blown. I don't believe it is. I do have new shocks. That's something that we're also going to put on. Exhaust kind of rough. Doesn't have a leak. It seals up. I've already tried that. So on to the next wheel. I'll bring you guys right back. All right, we got it all supported. Let's rip this right front wheel off. All right. It's tight. I mean, the steering's tight, which is a breath of fresh air. the tire is, as you can tell, outer edge is whooped on both of these. So have it blocked down. Let's check this one as well. Pads are kind of toast. Same thing with this side. It looks like somebody's run that thing, messed it up. Sway bar link's tight. One thing I do have to say, see if I can get this just right. Maybe I might have a turn a light on here. There we are. You can see the spring right up here where my finger's at. That's where my sound is. This spring is broken. Gonna have to get a quick strut for this side. Unfortunately, no bad news, but could be worse. Vertical control arm bushing looks okay. Yeah, this other side looked okay as well. I don't have to worry about that. Everything else looks good from sitting. So yeah, that's what we have here. I'll do an oil change next. You guys don't need to see that probably. So I'll compress that caliper off screen, finish everything up, but basically that's about it. That's it. Body wise looks pretty good. Really the little bit of damage in the back and then that door right there, it's not rusted through. So that's it. That's all we got to do. You guys will come back for that. Of course, that wheel bearing as well. That wheel bearing is going to be needed as well. So I'll bring you guys back the next time here. We'll do a part 3 on this. Start working on it. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. God bless.